Hey smart home buyers, today we're going to talk about 3 signs that you're ready to buy a house. A lot of people are wanting to purchase homes and it might not be in the best position, or really might not even be the best choice to buy a home. So I want to talk about that. I want to go over what things you should know, like to kind of have in place first before you think about being able to purchase. And if this fits, and if you're one of those people, and perfect, let's move forward. One of the first things is having money in reserves. Try to have 3 months of bills set in reserve. When you think about buying a home, it's a big decision. There are expenses that's going to pop up that you're going to be responsible for that might cut into your budget. So if you don't have those, like a nest egg set aside, then you're going to be in trouble when you have things like a roof leak or HVAC that goes out or your refrigerator crashes. There are always things that happen when you purchase a home, and you want to make sure that you're in a position to take care of that. I see a lot of people that purchase houses and they're like down to their last dollar. Yeah, maybe not literally the last dollar, but it's really close. It's like a lot of the money that they have is now into the house. So if something happens, you're gonna be in trouble. So I always try to say have at least 3 months of reserves set aside, and that's not just for your housing expense, but that's gonna be like for all your bills. Try to have all your bills, try to have 3 months of it set aside. That way you're in a good position. If something does happen, you're gonna be able to take care of that, Now, another thing, number 2, I would say is make sure that you're tracking all of your expenses. Money is energy. Like in this universe, regardless of what your spiritual beliefs are, the universe is not gonna reward you. You're not gonna get ahead financially if you're just spending money willy-nilly on everything. So if you think just getting into a home and you're not changing your underlying habits, then you're still gonna be in the same position you are. Buying a home is not any different than having to pay rent, except now you're adding an extra liability that you're on the line for. So one of the things that's just a good idea is to get in the habit of tracking your expenses and just being accountable, being responsible for where your money is going. Know where things are, have everything tracked so you can see and all right, this month I'm gonna spend this amount on food, I'm gonna spend this amount on my car, I'm gonna have set aside this amount for my house. So you're tracking all of this stuff, and now you can start planning for things longer term. Which leads me into my third point, and this is the third sign that you're ready to buy a house, is that you have a longer term wealth creation plan in place. So buying a house can be a fantastic benefit financially. You can get a lot of really cool perks from owning a home. Not only that, you can write a lot of things off, but to start thinking about longer term, it's not just a place that keeps you sheltered. How can you use that to your benefit? Having to pay something back for typically 30 years, how can I maybe get out of that? How can I pay that off sooner? How can I get out of it? How can I offset my mortgage payment? Think about what position are you gonna be in when you buy that house? Where can you be in 5 years down the road? So think longer term, like what is buying this house gonna set me up for financial success? Is it gonna set me up for financial freedom, or is it gonna keep me in the same position? Because at the end of the day, life, we're only here on this planet, we only have one go around. And money, as controversial as it is, money and understanding where your money is going is super important. If you don't know where your money is going and you don't have a plan for creating longer term wealth, then you're not really going to get ahead. So understand there are some principles to follow, and that if you have a longer term wealth creation plan in place and you have money set aside and you're tracking your expenses, then it makes sense. It makes sense to buy a home. If you don't have these things in place and you don't have money set aside and reserved, and you're not tracking your money, and you're just trying to go in just to get a home for instant gratification, then you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for failure, and it's a good idea to just go back to the basics. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Your mileage may vary, but in my experience and having talked with hundreds of people about buying homes, I can just say that this you see some common threads, and having these systems in place is just going to set you up for success, so that you're getting into a home that you love, and now you're building longer term wealth as well.